Hey, Tap here. 12 weeks. Could you give yourself 12 weeks to focus on you? Self care, self nurturing, self love, focusing on you. Now, before you answer the question, just so we're clear, the job, the partner, the house, the cat, the dog, the budgies, the fish, all of that stays. That doesn't get to be put to the side over the 12 weeks. You get the opportunity to integrate self love intentionally while taking care of all of what I just mentioned. Would you do it? Could you do it? What would that look like for you? What would success be for you if you were to actually embark on a journey like this? If you're sitting here right now thinking, I wouldn't even be bothered, or ain't nobody got time for that, or whatever other response that's possibly roaming through your mind right now, I just want to ask you this. Why wouldn't you prioritize you as much as you're prioritizing all of the people and things that I just mentioned? Only you can answer that question. I had to answer that question for myself, and I didn't really have an answer. So I had to stop and think about that. You see, my birthday was in November, and I hit the age of 51. Blessed to hit the age of 51. And I treat my birthdays as a new year. So for my new year, I usually do a reflection. So I think about all of what's happened over the last year, or maybe longer, depending on how much I'm in my feelings. And then I stop and think about, what do I want to change for the new year? Um, where do I want to grow, evolve, get rid of, all of those things, right? And we had snow here in Alberta, so leaving the house was not an option, which I was fine because I didn't want to leave my house anyways. Kendrick Lamar's album dropped. I was listening to that. Yeah, got a fave. Luther is my favorite off of that CD. And I had some pretty intimate conversations with some pretty important people in my life. And the word transformation popped in the back of my head. And in between phone calls and messages and stuff like that, I stopped and I recorded a thank you message on Instagram. If you're not already doing so, tap the soul, give me a follow on Instagram. So as I was recording that, I remember saying that the year of 51 is my transformation year. I had no clue what that meant. It was just something that came to my mind from the back of my mind to the forefront, and I said it out loud. I do not work with a script or a teleprompter. I speak freely after I press the record button and we see what happens. And then here we are, right? The next morning I woke up and the word again, transformation, was louder in my ear. It was no longer just a whisper, but I still didn't really have it figured out on what did I mean by transformation year? Like, what does that look like for me? And I started picking at different pieces of things I want to do. Now, I've talked in a previous post in regards to me having type 2 diabetes and wanting to reverse it. I've talked about being selfishly intentional and curating your life how you want to. I talk about self love. I talk about inspiring people, having conversations with everyday people. I'm talking the things, I'm doing the things. So I'm technically already going through a transformation, but it kind of felt like I'm not. And when I sat down again with the journal and on a different day at a different time, um, behind my smile came up. Now, if you have watched any of my streams in the past, you would know that I talk about behind my smile. I'll drop a link for a past video that is here on YouTube where I've talked about it. And really, the concept of behind my smile is for us to take a moment and ask ourselves, what's behind my smile? And just process what comes to mind. Whether you do anything with that or not is entirely up to you. And the concept behind that was really based on the fact that we have a tendency to have a lot of things going on behind our smiles that we don't share. How many times has one of your friends that you trust and love will ask you how you're doing, and you will automatically default and say, I'm okay, when you know you're not? Coworkers ask you all the time, hey, how was your weekend? How was your this? How was that? How you doing? And you say, I'm okay. Some of you may feel comfortable to actually share how you're feeling. Majority of us, myself included, will just say, hey, I'm good, and just leave it as that. That's all the stuff that's going on behind my smile, and probably all the stuff that's going on behind your smile. So those whispers that I have, the voices in my head, the conversations with self that I have in my journal, I can't ignore them anymore. So whispers behind my smile is a 12-week journey that I am going to be taking myself through to really focus on self-care and self-love and self-nurturing in a few areas of my life. I wrote them down because I knew I was probably going to forget them. So the areas that I'm focusing on over the next 12 weeks is mindfulness, movement, nourishment, body and soul care, and home. Now, I've been talking about this conversation with myself, right? So I've been talking about this with myself for a couple of weeks now, and I didn't really have it fleshed out. I have a general idea of what my approach is over the next 12 weeks. So I may pivot, I may continuously refine it, but the goal is really to take the next 12 weeks and focus on each of these areas as I embark on a journey of increasing my self love and my self nurturing and my self care in my year of transformation, my year of 51. Now, when I look at the list of 5 items, mindfulness for me, I can almost just shrug and say, yeah, I'm already doing it. But am I? So I start my mornings where for the past 24 days, I have been reading The Pivot Year by Brianna Wiest. And it is 365 days to become the person you truly want to be. Now, with any self nurturing, self help, whatever you want to call it, any of these self nurturing tools that you come across, I always say take what applies and leave what doesn't, right? For the last 24 days, I've started my morning and I read this. And maybe all of the words do not resonate with me, but some of the words will help plant a seed that I will then further explore or leave behind. So I start my morning and I read a passage out of here. Been doing that for the last 24 days. And then my trusty journal. Now, I started this journal in October and probably make it to the end of the year and still be focused on this one. We'll see how that goes. So from a mindfulness perspective, I journal, I read, but I haven't been meditating. And I used to meditate 2 times a day. I used to start my mornings with meditation and I used to end my days with meditation. And I found that it helped me sleep better. I didn't have the day still swirling in my brain that would creep into my dreams or my nightmares. I'd be able to sleep more sound and wake up the next day ready and refreshed. And then the meditation in the morning would help me be focused and aligned to go through the day. Over the next 12 weeks, I want to get back to that. I want to get back to meditation 2 times a day. Will I figure it out right out the gate? Probably not, because it's all about a flow of your life. But the goal is that I'm going to intentionally make an effort to do so. And we'll see where I land over the next 12 weeks. I'm going to be monitoring my progress, and I'm going to share that along the way. Next, we get to movement. Now, movement is one of those where I talked about movement back in March 2024. And I highlighted the fact that movement was just not about the physical. It could also be your state of mind. And I agree with that. But movement for me over the next 12 weeks will actually be physical because I have not been moving as much as I need to in order to improve the quality of lifestyle. I need to go back and incorporate certain things that I was doing quite well before I derailed and ended up in the position that I'm in right now. I'm not trying to lose weight to be skinny. I've been skinny most of my life and tried everything to gain weight, and now I've gained weight. I just want to lose a couple of pounds to be healthier. I want to improve the quality of my heart, which means I need to move around more. But I do want to move every single day. So for me, movement means that I want to move every single day. And that could be as simple as doing some yoga stretches for a couple of minutes, playing my Ring Fit for 30 minutes, watching a YouTube and participating in that YouTube exercise video that I come across, lifting some of the free weights that I have behind me. There's options. The goal is to knowing that I'm doing something. I have 2 flights of stairs in my house. So maybe it's just doing a couple reps of the 2 flights of stairs in my house to be moving. This is not about 30 minutes a day, every single day. This is just about knowing that I have intentionally made an effort to move my body in some way, shape, or form every day over the next 12 weeks, right? And there's going to be some days where I don't do it, and that's okay. The point is that I'm being intentional about trying to get it done and trying to be focused on me and not reprioritizing myself for other things or for other people, right? Next, I have nourishment. So nourishment is a tricky one for me. I don't eat all the time when I'm supposed to. Sometimes I do forget to eat. And a lot of times I end up eating late because I prepare my meals late, or my daughter and I get into a conversation and we're socializing and doing whatever. And then we're just like, oh, look at the time. Crap, we need to eat. And then we fix something to eat. Now, I had my binge of Uber Eats mainly because of lockdown. I am over that binge and that's no longer for me, which is good. But it doesn't take away the fact that I'm still not eating as healthy as I used to and as healthy as I should be right now for what I'm trying to accomplish for myself, longevity. I used to juice. I have a juicer that I bought on Amazon many, many moons ago. It has served its purpose. I plan to make an investment in a new juicer. I'll talk about that in a different video. And I have a blend tech. I used to make smoothies. My blend tech is growing dust. I have a lot of the tools. I'm just not applying the tools the way I should be. So for me, nourishment is increasing my water intake, juicing more, smoothies, and meal planning. Meal prep, I'm horrible at, but meal planning, knowing that when I buy groceries, I have an idea of what I'm cooking for the week and the time of day that I need to be eating. So I'm not eating late and then going to bed late and then waking up and dinner's probably still sitting in my stomach. Nourishment, I'm going to be focusing on that over the next 12 weeks to do better. Next on the list is body and soul care. I'm horrible at body and soul care, mainly because I don't socialize anymore. I have, some people have called me a recluse. I like to stay by myself. I'm fine by myself, which means I don't do all of the things that I used to do just because. Manicure and pedicures, I'm a little hesitant on doing that now with the diabetes because I'm worried about getting an infection because that doesn't go well. Those of you who know about diabetes, infections and feet and whatever, I'm a little paranoid about that. But it doesn't mean I can't do a pedicure and a manicure for myself at home. I used to do that all the time. I actually enjoy doing that all the time. Incorporating those kind of things back into my life. For us women who decide that we don't want to shave or wax our legs throughout winter because we just can't be bothered, decide that I'm going to shave or wax my legs throughout the winter because I want to be bothered. I want to pamper myself. I work from home most of the days. So those of you who follow me on Instagram will see the days when I post that I'm wearing a corporate top and I usually have on Lululemon shorts or pajama bottoms because I don't stand up on camera. And I'm okay with that most days because I want to be comfortable. But how about I mix it up every couple of days and decide to actually wear a full work attire and enjoy being cute for the day? Why not, right? Then we get to the home. The home is a weird one for me right now, to be honest with you. I recently moved across the country and I left and sold pretty much all of my furniture, brought all of my books and artwork and special belongings. The majority of my furniture did not make it with me. So when I moved here in July, I had to rebuy pretty much everything. I think the sofa and the TV are the only big items that came with us. Everything else, beds, everything else, desks, none of that came with us. Everything was a rebuy. So over the months of July to early September, I've spent a lot of time and a lot of money buying back furniture. So I have the desk and the seating and the beds and whatever. And then I've incorporated, the stuff that I did bring with me. And my home feels like a home. But I still feel like there's pieces missing because as much as the books are on the bookshelf behind me, there's really no rhyme or reason. I just grabbed a bunch of books and threw it on the shelf because I no longer want to see boxes in my house. So now I need to go a little bit deeper and spend some time and go through the bookshelves and look at the books I do have. I have tons of books I have not read yet that I do plan to read and kind of pull it together. I have artwork that I still have not put up on a wall because I'm not sure which wall I want the artwork on. I have a lot of walls now, so I can add more artwork. What artwork do I want to buy next and invest in and put on a wall? Those are all things that I just don't take the time to do because I just can't be bothered. Not because I don't want to, because I love that stuff. I literally just get frustrated on the task, right? In my lounge right now, I normally have the portable heater going because it's chilly because I haven't bought an area rug to put down yet. Like these are just those things that when I'm talking about taking myself through a 12-week journey, this is not about an overhaul of life. This is just taking a little bit more time and attention to detail on those things that bring you joy. An area rug for my lounge area would bring me joy. I can enjoy being down here more often. Going through my bookshelves and looking at all my books would definitely bring me joy because it's going to remind me of the books I have read, the books I want to reread, or the books to read as I'm going through my inventory that I don't even pay attention to anymore. Whispers behind my smile. 12 weeks. Mindfulness, movement, nourishment, body and soul, and home. Now, I just gave you the rundown of what I plan to do over the 12 weeks. And the question that came back to me is like, how am I even going to do this? Where am I going to start? And it's going to start where I always tell everybody to start, and that is to remember your why, know your why, and remember your why. I needed to really be clear about why I want to do this. What am I trying to accomplish? And I have a why for each one of those areas that I spoke to. And I've shared some of that just now in speaking. But for me, I decided that I wanted to go even more intentional. So I have a bullet journal, brand new. And I actually posted this on my Insta stories earlier, right? So I have decided that I'm going to have a bullet journal exclusively for the next 12 weeks that I'm going to be working from as I'm building this. And each week I'm focusing on something that will touch on all of these areas. And week one is pretty simple when you think about it. It is setting the intentions. So for this week, it started December 15th for me until the 21st of December. I'll be focusing on setting my intentions, defining my why for each of those areas. What does that transformation look like? What does it feel like? What do I want to accomplish? What does success mean for me in each of those areas? Really being crisp and clear that those are the areas that I want to focus on. Do I want to refine it, keep it the same? I'm not sure yet. This is where I'm starting. We'll see how the rest of the week goes as I continue to focus on this. But when I talk about mindfulness and I talk about movement and I talk about nourishment, I talk about, body and soul care, and I talk about my home, these are areas of my life that bring me joy. And these are areas of my life that I know that it will continue to improve my joy, the quality of my life. And that's where I want to pour my love into, my self-love and my self-care. For you, it may look different, and it doesn't have to be the same. It's not supposed to be the same. We're all at different points of our life. The only thing that I am asking you is that if you're willing to and you want to, take the journey with me. Focus on those whispers that are behind your smile. Sit down and set some intentions about what do you want to do? What is the reason for why you want to do it? What would success look like? Where do you want to focus? And then decide how you want to track it. And for me, I'm deciding that I want to use a bullet journal because I want to have a concentrated spot with everything so I can go back and see what I was doing well and what do I want to refine on. You may decide you wanted to scribble a note here or there when you feel like it in your notebook, in your phone, in your notes app. It's entirely up to you. You are accountable to you. I'm just looking at this for me and sharing with all of you in hopes of anybody that's thinking about they would love to do this, or they've been thinking about something and they don't really know how to figure it out. And this might be the spark, the seed that gets planted to help them figure out what they want to do for themselves. The whispers behind my smile. Those whispers behind my smile have been some days a cozy blanket, some days like nails on a chalkboard. And there's many times in my life where I have realized that I can no longer ignore those whispers. I do need to take action and understand why I need to take action. And it really just comes back down to love, self-love. If I don't take that time to nurture, inspire, and love myself, how can I expect to have anybody else pour into me? And how can I expect to pour into anybody else if I will not prioritize myself and pour into myself? So I'm going to tap out here, and I'm going to go back to my notebook and focus on setting my intentions and building my foundation of what I want the next 12 weeks to look like. I will be posting here. I will share along the way. I will be posting on Instagram. If you're not doing so, feel free to follow me on Instagram so you can get some real-time things in between me sending something here. But I'm really hoping that you take a moment and you ask yourself the question, can you take 12 weeks of your life and focus on you while still taking care of the dog, the cat, the budgie, the fish, the spouse, the partner, the job, the house? And if you feel like you can't, the question I'm going to leave you with is, why don't you feel that you're important enough to prioritize yourself that way? Only you can answer that question. Whispers behind my smile. What's behind yours? Peace, love, and blessings.